know that feeling, right? It's 5 p.m., maybe even 5:30. You finally closed all your tabs, shut down the laptop. You're mentally checking out, picturing dinner, maybe some Netflix, just quiet. And then ping, a Slack message, or an email pops up, or that quick text from your boss with a just had a thought kind of thing. And suddenly that 5 p.m. finish line, it just disappears. That right there is what people are calling the infinite workday. And the truth is, the traditional 9 to 5, well, that's pretty much ancient history now. So our mission in this deep dive is to pull out the most important bits, the key knowledge and insights from our source material. We're looking at excerpts from the new Infinite Workday, When the Office Closes, Work Continues by Carol Merkel. We want to give you a shortcut, basically, to getting your head around this new reality of modern work. It's everywhere. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Many of us are, back in the office now, at least partly, but it definitely doesn't feel like the old days, does it?
Not at all. Companies are asking for that physical presence again, sure. But the source is crystal clear. That old 9 to 5 workday is, and I quote, ancient history now.
Right. The 5 p.m. bell doesn't just ring and everything stops.
It just keeps going. And what's really interesting is this concept the source calls the hybrid hustle. It describes this scenario where maybe you're 2 days home, 3 in the office, but as the source puts it, yet somehow you're working 7 days a week.
Wow. 7 days. So it's not just longer hours, it sounds like.
It's more about the boundaries just dissolving. That whole idea of an off switch, it's fading. The report even mentions Microsoft's term frontier firms of 2025.
Frontier firms. What does that mean exactly?
Well, the source jokes a bit, suggesting these are the companies that figure out how to torture employees across multiple time zones.
Ouch. A bit cynical, but maybe there's some truth there.
It definitely makes you ask, what does flexibility really mean anymore? Is it actual freedom or just always being on call?
Yeah. Has it just blurred all the lines, created this new expectation? We've all felt that sort of invisible leash, I think. But the source isn't just talking about feelings, right? It has data.
Exactly. It quantifies it. This isn't just anecdotal anymore. It paints a pretty stark picture of after-hours work being the norm. Measurably so.
Okay, so what does the data show? What are the numbers?
Well, here's a striking one the report highlights. 1 in 5 meetings now happen when you should be watching Netflix instead.
1 in 5. That's significant. A fifth of your supposed personal time scheduled for work?
Precisely. And it's not just meetings. Think about your phone. The source mentions off-hours messages pinging you. Well, it says this many times daily, implying a substantial number when you're trying to unwind.
That constant stream of notifications. It keeps your brain kind of tethered to work, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's relentless. Microsoft's own observation, mentioned in the source, is that for many, the workday now feels like navigating chaos.
Navigating chaos. That really sums up that feeling of overwhelm.
It does. And it gets worse. The source points to a specific after 8 p.m. trend.
After 8 p.m., what happens then?
There's been a noticeable increase multi-time zone work, especially hitting after that time. The report makes a sharp point, quoting, maybe a bit humorously, but alarmingly, "Your bedtime story is now a quarterly forecast. Sweet dreams."
Ah, yeah, sweet dreams indeed. But it's not just about losing sleep, is it? It's like work thoughts hijacking your brain right before bed.
Exactly. It prevents that real mental recovery, that true downtime.
So it's not just the amount of time, it's also how unpredictable it all feels. Like you could be yanked back in at any second. What does the source say about that, the spontaneity of it all?
Oh, absolutely. The report talks about pop-up meetings. Get this. 57% of meetings weren't on your calendar this morning.
Wait, 57%? More than half your meetings just appeared.
Yep. That statistic is pretty jarring. It means your planned day can just get completely upended. This creates what the source calls real-time chaos. That dinner you planned, canceled, emergency team huddle time.
Ugh. I think we've all been there. Your personal life just feels like it's constantly on standby.
Total loss of control over your own schedule, essentially.
And this ties into the boundary breakers idea, right? Personal time is just work time spillover. The source asks, kind of wryly, who needs hobbies?
Yeah, and it hits close to home, doesn't it? How many times have plans been changed because of that unexpected work ping?
Too many times. Feels very familiar.
And then there's what the source calls the after-hours message avalanche.
Avalanche sounds about right.
It paints this picture. Your evening plans. Responding to 50-plus work messages. Netflix can wait. It's not just one or two quick things.
50-plus messages. In the evening, that's practically another work session.
It can be. It demands real chunks of your free time.
Yeah.
And that classic ping at 9:30 p.m., just your boss with a quick question.
Oh, the quick question, that's never actually quick.
Exactly. It consumes a significant slice of your free time.
Wow.
It's this constant low-level hum of work obligation that just never really stops. It fundamentally changes how you experience your evenings, your weekends.
This sounds honestly exhausting. Just listening to it, if this is the new normal, what's the real human cost? What's the toll?
Well, connecting the dots, the consequences are pretty severe and deeply personal. The source uses some really vivid language, like the never-ending workday. It describes that feeling when your morning alarm and your last goodnight email feel like they're 3 minutes apart.
Wow. Yeah, that feeling of just no break, no real disconnect.
Right. It's not just about being tired. It's that psychological inability to switch off, to truly rest. It leads to this deep exhaustion that never seems to lift.
And that phrase we heard earlier, navigating chaos.
Yeah, the source clarifies that's basically Microsoft's polite way of saying total workplace mayhem.
So not just busy, but actually chaotic and unstructured.
Exactly. It leaves people constantly scrambling, feeling overwhelmed, never quite on top of things.
And the end game, if this just keeps going.
The source uses a powerful metaphor. The burnout express, the fast train to exhaustion station, all aboard.
That's bleak. But it really highlights the danger, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a direct threat to mental and physical health. It makes sustainable work almost impossible without some kind of change.
Okay, so
Yep.
why? Why is this happening? What's actually driving this creep of work into every part of life? It can't just be people choosing this, surely. There must be bigger forces at play.
That's the crucial question, isn't it? And the source points to a few key drivers. First off, the global teams explosion. Apparently, cross-time zone work is up 8 points since 2021.
8 points, that's a significant jump.
It is, and it directly leads to the feeling that, quote, someone's always awake to bother you.
Right, because if your team is spread out, the 9 to 5 window just doesn't apply globally. Someone's always starting their day when you're ending yours.
Precisely. Collaboration naturally stretches across more hours.
And then there's the whole flexibility thing. How has that played into it?
Well, the source argues that flexible has kind of been twisted to mean always available.
So work your own hours becomes...
Work all hours, exactly. What was sold as autonomy has, for many, become this implicit expectation that work can intrude any time. Boundaries just dissolved.
That makes sense. And the tech itself, the tools we use.
Oh, definitely a major factor. The source mentions too many tools, email, Slack, Teams, project management apps, and crucially, as the source puts it, your pocket computer ensures work follows you everywhere. Even the bathroom.
Huh. Yeah, the phone is the ultimate tether, isn't it?
It really is. The constant connectivity, the ease of access, it makes it incredibly hard to truly properly unplug. The friction to check work is basically zero.
It does paint a pretty stark picture.
Yeah.
But look, it's not all doom and gloom, right? The source does offer some solutions for organizations. What can companies actually do to fight back against this infinite workday? To, help people get some sanity back?
You're right, it's not hopeless. And that raises the key question. How do we reclaim that sanity? The report suggests several practical, important steps for companies. First, and maybe most obviously, is to set boundaries.
Boundaries? Like what?
Well, the source puts it kind of cheekily. A crazy idea. No meetings after dinner time. Revolutionary, right?
Huh. It sounds simple, but actually enforcing that requires real cultural change.
Absolutely. It needs buy-in from leadership and respect across the board for those non-work hours.
Okay, what else?
Tied into that is the need to protect focus time.
Focus time.
Yeah.
So uninterrupted work time.
Exactly. Letting people actually concentrate without constant pings, check-ins, or those pop-up meetings we talked about. As the source says, the world won't end without another check-in. It's about trusting people to manage their work.
Empowering them to actually do deep work instead of just reacting all day.
Right. Trust and autonomy. And finally, a really critical one, embrace asynchronous communication.
Meaning things don't always have to be instant.
Precisely. That 10 p.m. question can probably wait until morning. Sleep is still legal. Another quote from the source.
I like that. Sleep is still legal.
It stresses using communication methods that respect different time zones and people's personal lives. Not everything needs an immediate response.
Shifting away from this culture of constant urgency.
Exactly. Towards intentionality and respect for well-being.
So wrapping this up, After diving into all this, it's really clear, isn't it? The new infinite workday isn't just a phrase. It's a fundamental shift in how we work, how we live. It's changed everything.
It really has. And to summarize the core findings from the source, that old 9 to 5, it's gone. Kaput. The risks now are starkly clear. Without setting real boundaries, without managing this constant connection, burnout isn't just a risk, it's pretty much inevitable.
So the challenge for companies is huge.
It is. The successful ones going forward will be those who figure out how to balance genuine flexibility with sanity, making sure productivity doesn't crush people.
And that core message from the source really sticks with me. Remember, just because you can work at midnight doesn't mean you should.
Absolutely critical takeaway. So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Considering everything we've talked about this whole infinite workday, what stands out to you as the most challenging part to deal with personally? And maybe more importantly, what's just one small step, one tiny action you can maybe try this week to reclaim even a little bit of your own time?